Good evening. This is James, Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf, your net control operator for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions, and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact net control by saying break, break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I'll recognize each station before continuing. This is James, Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf, and I'm looking for stations who'd like to participate tonight. Come now.
I guess I'll go first. N6YG, George and Lincoln.
November 6 Hotel Alpha, Bill and Roseville.
Kilo 6, Kilo Romeo, Quebec, Bill in Thomas.
Kilo Romeo 6, Romeo Alpha Oscar, Kishore in Eldorado Hills.
This is Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta Carol in Citrus Heights.
November 6, Delta Victor Mike, Stewart in Atomas.
What a nice group. Happy New Year. We have George, November 6, Yankee George. We have Bill, November 6, Hotel Alpha. We have another Bill, Kilo 6, Kilo Romeo, Quebec. Kishore, Kilo Romeo 6, Romeo Alpha Oscar. Always great to hear you, Kishore. Bob, N6PGQ. Stuart, who's joining us for the first time. Good evening, Stuart. This is exciting. November 6, Delta Victor Mike. We have Carol, KP4MD. I'm just writing that down because she didn't check in yet. And we have me, AE6JG, James. Anybody else want to join us for the Slow Scan TV Net tonight? All right, well, that's 8 of us so far. I'll check for more check-ins later on. But, George, you called first, so you get to go first. November 6, Yankee George.
I'm getting a little slow on the mic, so I just got a picture to my main computer. There it is. I was wondering where that went to. Let me drop that in here and get it ready to send. I'm actually going to replace the picture I was going to send. So this is going to be PD120 from N6YG.
N6YG. That's so funny because I'm making a wire antenna with binding posts for my KX3. Bill, November 6, Hotel Alpha. Tell us what you see.
Yeah, it's a interesting photo. There's a lot of slanting going on with it. I didn't hear a preamble when you first sent the image, so I wonder what your setup is today, because it doesn't sound like the typical SSTV setup. But I think we see a Quan Chang, that UVKA6, one with the custom firmware a lot of people like, with a binding post, and it looks like two pieces of metal potentially attached to it, making a dipole. So it's a very interesting setup. I bet it works. I wonder how well it works, and why did you make this? So it'd be interesting to hear more about it. N6HA.
All right, thanks. And Stuart, since you're new, I'm going to let you comment on what do you observe. Tell us about any pixel pops you see, any questions you may have. November 6, Delta Victor Mike.
Yeah, so I see some pixel pops, actually a horizontal line about 1/3 from the top, and there's some lines at the bottom, and a few pixel pops here and there at the top. But overall, the image, actually I'm looking at it on YouTube. I'll tell you why later. But it's clear and looks pretty good to me.
All right, thanks, Stuart. George, what are we looking at?
Well, everybody just about got it. This isn't mine. I didn't make it. I just someone uploaded it to one of the forums, and I thought it was interesting, so I just was going through my pictures and decided to upload it here on SSTV. I don't think I've changed anything on my setup, at least not on the transmit side, and I haven't really. I've never calibrated the sound card in in this particular radio because it doesn't have HF in it, so I can't go to WWV to calibrate the sound card. So it is what it is. I'll figure some way of doing it. Inject a signal. I don't know. All right, back to net N6YG.
All right, thanks, George. Bill, November 6, Hotel Alpha, you're next in line.
Thank you. This is going to be PD 120 and 6HA.
impressive, as always, the work you're able to do with downloading images from the International Space Station, but we look forward to hearing more about this. I will say it looks like we're getting some interference from Beale, but let's talk to Bill, K6KRQ. Bill, go ahead and tell us how the image came across and what you observed there.
This is Bill, K6KRQ. An ISS image. I'm so glad that that's not the one I've got queued up, but that one's pretty good. A couple of lines through it, but I'll bet you that's from the satellite transmission. I say that because I got some that look the same, but it's a good one. Back to you.
Thanks, Bill. Let me also say that Craig in New Orleans is watching on YouTube, Whiskey Papa 2 November, and Alan, Kilo 6 Alpha Golf, Whiskey down in Imperial, who's still on a work assignment there, is also watching live on YouTube. All right, Kishore, comments about this image from Bill, KR6RAO.
Yeah, A6AG, this is KR6RAO Kishore. Excellent picture from Bill. I have something similar. It's not the same one, luckily as well. But I was not able to download this one coming off the International Space Station. I just got the lower part of it. But anyway, it's a great picture, very good quality. And as somebody else mentioned, I think the pixel pops are from the satellite transmission. Back to net.
All right, thanks, Kishore. Bill, N6HA, tell us about this image.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. The artifacts are from me receiving it from the ISS. I've actually been away from town quite often this month, so I received this while I was in Bodega Bay using a handheld, a Baofeng of all things, and using just a rubber ducky whip. Using acoustic coupling, I was able to get this copy. So I was extremely impressed with the results with that very minimal setup. I believe they've turned up the power of the transmitter because it's a lot easier to receive images off the bird with this latest SSTV experiment from the ISS. So it was fun here in Bodega Bay and actually getting an image. At one point, we actually I had a group of friends that weren't they're not licensed. We had 4 transmitters out there between us decoding images. So it was a lot of fun to show them the other aspects of the hobby. So they enjoyed it. Yeah, back to N6AJ.
Thanks, Bill. Oh, that's great. I'm impressed that you did this by hand with acoustic coupling using a Baofeng. Impressive. Wow. Okay, the other Bill, Kilo 6, Kilo Romeo, Quebec. Are you ready to share an image?
I certainly am. By the way, this is K6KRQ. Like James said, I'm doubly impressed now hearing about what you used to get that. So anyway, most of my I got 11 out of the 12 images off the ISS. So here comes what may be my best one. Here we go.
N6KRQ AE6JG. Impressive image. You guys are blowing it away tonight. Okay, Bob, N6PGQ, comments.
Okay, I'm impressed. No ID through the picture. Well, maybe about a quarter of the way down. I can't tell. It's kind of disappeared into the background. On the left, we have a gentleman standing there, and underneath it, it says commemorating Eris elder statesman Gaston Bertel's ON4WF, silent key from 27 to 24, 1927 to 2024. Really good quality. That may be the same gentleman at the microphone in the right picture. All the colors of the IDs, the station IDs, came through really, really well. This is one of the better pictures, and I'm impressed with the download from the ISS N6PGQ.
Yeah, I am too. And good evening, Kayla, Kilo Alpha 6, Yankee Lima Alpha, who's watching us live on YouTube. Stuart, comments about this image, November 6th, Delta Victor Mike, go ahead.
It's a great image. It's clear and it's very interesting, actually. I did actually render it on SSTV on iOS, and it didn't come across as well as it did on YouTube, but it looks really good.
Copy that. Thank you, Stuart. All right. Bill, do you want to tell us how you got this image?
Thanks for the kind words. This is Bill, K6KRQ. I learned a little bit more about making templates, too, to put those call signs on. I got all of my images. It seemed that all the passes were like in the early morning hours, but between 11 p.m. and about 7 a.m. And I did it with my vertical. That's it. My Comet GP3. So I was pretty impressed. I almost got a clean sweep. I'm missing one picture. So anyway, again, thanks for the kind words. Back to you, James. Bye. K6KRQ.
K6KRQ, thanks. Yeah, these images you guys got are great. Maybe N6HA is right that they turned up the power, or just maybe it's just a good time of year to download these images. Thanks, Bill. This is James, Alpha Echo 6, Juliet Golf Net Control for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net. Anybody else like to check in and join us? Okay, Kishore, Kilo Romeo 6, Romeo Alpha Oscar, are you ready to transmit an image?
Yeah, AE6JG. I just want to do a test of a tone before, because I haven't been using my MSS TV.
Yeah, go ahead, Kishore. Yeah, good tone.
Okay, KR6RAO with a PD120. Here goes.
Kishore, this is an excellent image, except, of course, I think this image definitely got some interference from the pay-pause, but somebody may correct me if I'm wrong about that. Bob, N6PGQ, how do you copy the image?
Well, the image came through except for the one greenish line that's about third down and a bunch of green dots that are about 2/3 down and then across the bottom. The picture's good. As it was coming in before it got to the title at the bottom, I said, you know, that looks like some kind of a device that's on the moon, and there it is. So you can see the solar panels on the top of the lander, and I can't tell if it's got, wheels or a tractor or some to that thing on the bottom of it because the green bar came across that part of the picture. But a good picture, interesting. I guess the different people that are on the ISS have sent pictures of their space exploits. Anyway, good picture. That's about it, N6PGQ.
All right, N6PGQ. Carol, KP4MD, your comment, I see that you mentioned some Faraday fading. Can you describe that?
Oh, absolutely. This is KP4MD. This is an excellent picture. You know, I was very aware that this International Space Station SSTV event was going on for many days after Christmas. And I had heard that they had a technical problem for a while, and I guess they had stopped sending pictures, but then they resumed it. But this is one time when I did not participate at all in this, and I kind of regret it because these are some awesomely good pictures. And yeah, that's that a band across the picture there looks, and it sounded exactly like Faraday fading, which is rotation of the signal as it passes through the ionosphere and it changes polarization. You can have the signal fade when the polarization is at right angles to the antenna you're using to receive. So that's exactly what it looks like, and it was interesting the way it sounded when it came through. But I'm sure George would agree with me on this. So back to you. This is Killer Papa for Mike Delta. Over.
Copy. Thank you, Carol. Very interesting. Kishore, how did you grab this?
Yeah, KR6RAO here. First of all, this is the first time I had downloaded any pictures from the ISS. I was super excited to do this. Thanks, Carol, for putting it out on Discord. I think it's going through the 5th of January, so you may still have some time to download some pictures. Yeah, this picture I got with my stationary antenna vertical. So, yeah, the green dots and the bar in the middle, I'm glad to understand that it's the fading, the Faraday fading. Yeah, kind of that at the time, I guess I couldn't rotate my antenna because it was stationary. But it was really good to do this, and I had a whole bunch of other pictures, but this is one of my better ones. And so it was really good to do this, and super excited. I'm hoping to catch a few more. They're at odd times in the night, but thanks for posting this. I'm happy to be back here and sharing this picture. Back to net, KR6RAO.
Yeah, it's great to have you join us, Kishore, and Happy New Year. All right, Bob, N6PGQ, your turn.
Okay, well, before I start, Kishore, what frequency is the ISS on?
$145,825.
Yeah, I was not fast enough. That's right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this should be PD-120, and unfortunately, I don't have any ISS pictures to share. N6PGQ.
N6PGQ-AE6JG. Well, that looks like a picture of you holding really still. Okay, let's see what Stuart thinks. N6TV VM, go ahead.
I love this image. Santa's been around a long time, and he looks a little worse for wear, but he's holding up, although he's lost his head. But I think it looks pretty good. I'm sure this is not a biological Santa. Is that correct? N6DVM.
Thanks, Stuart. George, N6YG, comments on this image?
It looks like a Christmas tree ornament. A very young-looking Santa there. I'm wondering if that's porcelain or not. That's very interesting. I'm sure we'll find out.
All right, Bob, N6PGQ, who is this?
Well, I was supposed to be on the net last week, but the family came over about 9 in the morning, and by the time Slow Scan TV was on, they were still here. So that's one of my wife's ornaments, and it is porcelain, and it's relatively old, but not too. And it's sitting right in the middle of the tree, and I had the picture ready for last week, but obviously didn't use it, so I couldn't go without putting it there and telling everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Hanukkah, and that was on our tree, N6PGQ.
Thank you, Bob. Kayla says, "Wow, so clear." Yeah, the copy is almost perfect on my computer and on the YouTube stream. Andrew also just joined us. Happy New Year. All right, Stuart, it's your turn. Do you have any questions for this group since this is your first time? I know you've been practicing, but the floor is yours, N6DVM.
All right, thank you. So I'm brand new to this. So one thing I'll ask, if this is not working as I transmit, maybe somebody can put a comment in the chat on YouTube and let me know. Quick prelude to this is this image will probably be an outlier for this group. But my primary interest in SSTV now is for telemedicine, so that will give you a hint. All right, this will be PD120, and here we go.
N6DVM. The first image, it started over, as I think you figured that out. I don't know why, but we'll talk about that in a second. Was really clear, very impressive, very interested to know what it was we were looking at. Carol, KP4MD, go ahead and make comments.
Okay, yeah, this is Killer Papa 4 Mike Delta. Yeah, this is definitely a radiograph or an X-ray, and I've seen plenty of these in my work. By the way, I'm a medical doctor, now retired, and it does not look like a human spine to me. It looks like some other kind of animal. That's all I can guess, because the limb, it looks like the part of the vertebra there, and maybe the pelvis over on the right side. I really am not too sure about that. But excellent. Digital imaging. Oh, animal. There it is. Animal Emergency Clinic of Rockford. I'm just seeing that now. So that's it, and came through very well. I wonder what that round circular object is there in kind of like the left half of the picture. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. So back over to you. By the way, this is a very popular net on YouTube. We've had up to 14 viewers at a time here. So a lot of people are enjoying this on a New Year's evening. Back to you. This is KP4MD. Over.
Copy. Thank you, Carol. Bill, N6HA.
Yeah, very good copy here. The station ID did get you about halfway down of the photo. There's a few pixel pops, but extremely clear reception here. And I am not qualified to follow Carol with my interpretation of what this X-ray is. It does look like an animal to me. At first I thought it was maybe a pregnant animal, because that kind of looks like a skull there in its abdomen to me, but then I realized the abdomen stopped a little short for that to be something, a pregnant animal. So it's probably just the inside organs of the animal. So yeah, I wonder what animal this is, and if you think this photo is clear enough to actually utilize the usage you might intend to use this for. You might also want to look into WinLink if you want to send file attachments. That's maybe a better protocol to make sure things aren't obscured with pixel pops and etc. N6HA.
N6HA, thank you. This is James Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf, net control for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV net. We're going to go over to Stuart, November 6, Delta Victor Mike. Stuart, what is the image you shared?
Very good, actually. A couple things. Yes, this image actually is unique in that even with SSTV, it's diagnosable. Yes, I agree, WinLink would be a better option, but I'm exploring SSTV for this as well. This is a dog, and this is a radiograph, as Carol said, an X-ray or a radiograph. It's a lateral view. The dog is laying on its side, on her side, and her head is to the left, her tail is to the right. You can see her vertebrae, so the top of the image is her back, and the bottom is or what we call her ventral abdomen. The round object to the left center is a foreign body, and it's in the stomach of this dog. And can anybody guess what the foreign body might be? N6DVM.
Watch battery, N6HA.
I was going to say a quarter or a nickel.
Good guesses, actually. It's a bottle cap, and the size of this bottle cap suggests the size of the animal. It's not a big dog. I don't know what kind of dog it is. I have no idea. And this is a relatively normal abdominal lateral radiograph of a dog, other than the foreign body. There's a little bit of gas in the colon. To the right, as Carol said, is the pelvis. The oval object to the right is the bladder, and to the left of the bottle cap, the white structure near the bottom is the liver. The gas area above the bottle cap, about 10 o'clock, is the inside of the stomach, and the rest is mostly intestine. So that's what it is.
That is really very, very interesting, and feel free to keep sharing things like this, Stuart. It's great to have you. Let me ask, the picture came through and then it started over again. Do you know what caused that?
Yeah, I was doing just audio coupling with my microphone on an Android phone, and I didn't know when it stopped. So it's not connected through a data port on my radio. So I didn't know when to stop. So that's because I'm a noob.
It's okay. We spend a lot of time on this net helping each other out for all kinds of technical issues. So a really impressive first effort, and so glad you could join us. So thanks, Stuart. Before we go to Carol, because this is so unique, let me see if there's anybody else with questions or comments.
Comment.
So go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I just want to attest to what you said, James, about giving lots of help. I sure needed it, and it worked real well. K6KRQ.
And you were so patient, Bill, and but you got it all working. You're still using your 991A, right?
I certainly am. It works real well.
Whatever you did, I know a lot of people could use help with that. Like we talked about, that radio is pretty tough. And, I mean, this isn't for the faint of heart anyway, and then the 991's a challenge, and you have overcome it in spades, so very impressive. All right, any other comments or questions?
Yeah, last comment.
Go ahead, Stuart.
So this image is also an homage to how I used to spend my life, New Year's evenings until all night long in the ER, doing exploratory surgeries on dogs. I don't know if this is a surgical emergency. They may have decided to see if this will pass, but it's a pretty large foreign body, and they probably went in and did surgery on this dog. So that's it.
Thanks, that's interesting. And everybody will notice November 6th, Delta Victor Mike is DVM for Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, and I'm still impressed that you were able to grab that. That's so good. All right, Carol, speaking of clever call signs, KP4MD, are you ready to share an image?
Okay, yeah, this is Killer Papa for Mike Delta. Yeah, I actually, before you said it was a bottle cap, I had guessed I was going to ask if that was a bottle cap, because you can very clearly see the serrations around the periphery of that bottle cap, and it's quite fortuitous that you were able to get it exactly at that angle where you were just like it wasn't parallel to the plane of the X-ray plate. So amazing, and an excellent picture there. Yeah, yeah, I've seen plenty of foreign objects as well. In my 40 years of practice, I did retire back just about, well, now it's 5 years ago, and I dealt mostly with young people, being a pediatrician, and they're very notorious for putting strange things in their mouth and swallowing them when they're not supposed to. So very good. Thank you very much for sharing this this clinical image. And yeah, Alan says it was a xenomorph. I guess that's related to the movie Alien. Thank you very much. Okay, I got a picture for everybody here. It's going to be PD120, and it's not a space picture, but it's appropriate for this for today. This is KP4MD, and going to be sending PD120.
right, thanks, Carol, for that image. Interesting image. I'm, with the white background, I have little blue pixel pops throughout, but it came across very clearly otherwise. Kishore, KR6RAO, comments on Carol's picture.
Yeah, KR6RAO here. It's a very clear picture, cartoon with, I see the colors are pretty bright, no question about that, and it came through pretty good. No other comment. Back to Net.
All right, Kishore. Bill, K6KRQ. I'm trying to kind of guess what it means, what it's a metaphor for. I mean, I have some thoughts, but I don't know, Bill, what do you think?
This is Bill, K6KRQ. I got that picture like real well. Carol does this. Carol, you must be quicker on the templates than me because I saw you inserted quickly the call signs on the bottom. By the way, you know what? For the first time, I have one of those ham clock units with the Innovatos, and I have YouTube up on it with Chrome, and it looks best on that than it does on my TV on YouTube. But anyway, that came through good. I see more little popping on my MS TV application than I do on the two TV apps, but it's a great picture and a well-known caricature for Father Time going out, I guess, and the baby New Year coming in. So well done there, Carol. K6KRQ.
Comment.
Go ahead, George.
I'm curious if I'm the only one that got the split. The image shifted. It looks like about not quite a third of the way down. So I'm not sure if that was just on my end, the sync on my end, or if anybody else copied it.
I didn't. It's straight for me.
Straight for me too. George, your picture shifted at the top when you sent it. Anyway, good picture. I was hoping that everybody would get this N6PGQ.
KP4MD, any comments before I send an image?
Yeah, okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. This is not an original picture, but it's very appropriate for today. You know, when I was young, this was kind of what you would say, out with the old and in with the new. The old man was the old year, and the New Year baby was the baby that my parents always said, wait for the coming in New Year's baby. So this was an imagery that was very popular back in in my days. I guess maybe it's something that's lost significance. But then again, different cultures celebrate New Year's at different times of the year too. So this is what can I say? Anyway, but thank you. Yeah, you got it, Bill. There. Back to Net Control. This is KP4MD.
Thanks, Carol. I think the sickle threw me off, although I understood it to be what it is. Interesting image. Bill, K6KRQ, the reason you're getting such a nice image on your stream is because Carol's image that she's streaming is from her home base computer, and so it's not actually transmitting. Is that correct, Carol?
Yeah. Whenever I send a picture, it's not coming through the repeater. You're just getting a direct copy of my picture that I'm sending out. So my picture will always come in better over to YouTube. Over.
Yeah, it looks great on both of them, on the ham clock unit and on my TV.
Any other comments or questions for Carol before Net Control sends an image? All right, here we go. This is partly in honor of Bob N6PGQ, or at least of general interest. Here we go. Craig on YouTube called it an old Poppin' Johnny. Okay, Bob, N6PGQ. Your thoughts and comments?
Well, somebody has a nicely restored John Deere tractor, probably for row crops, since the front has just a center wheel. And I'm guessing, I'm not a John Deere person, but I'm guessing probably 40s or so, considering the steering wheel is hooked to a shaft that goes all the way to the front rather than being internal. Let me see, what else can I tell? I don't know. I can't see a fuel tank, so it probably is gasoline, and has the takeoff on the left side and a very nice, well-sprung seat for it. Has rubber tires that look relatively new, so someone's been taking care of it. Be interested to know where this is, N6PGQ.
Thanks, Bob. Let me see, who else should comment? Who hasn't commented enough yet? Well, Bill, N6HA.
Yeah, good copy photo here. The station ID got you about halfway down. But very few pixel pops. I think Bob had the stronger image of the evening, but this is a good second contender. Yeah, looks like an old John Deere, a bumpy ride, I'm sure, with that seat, and yeah, it looks restored and well taken care of. Front tire looks a little flat though, so I wonder if they're actually using it right now, or if that's just an optical illusion. I see some clothes in the back being sold potentially. I wonder if this is some kind of flea market or fair, because it looks like there's a rack of clothes in the back right there. So yeah, I'm wondering where you took it. And did you get to sit on the tractor? N6HA.
I could have, because it wasn't being guarded. I took this. This is on display at Liberty Station in San Diego, which has been converted mostly to civilian use at this point. This is basically right under the flight path from the airport in San Diego. So as you're standing there, the planes are coming right over your head. Yeah, there was a flea market going on all down the block there, so good catch, Bill. Those are clothes, and there were lots of other things and art and stuff going on. So this is just out on exhibit. Anybody could climb onto it. It's just right there. And I have other images of it too, but I just thought it was just kind of neat in the middle of this modernization of this old military base, essentially, that they had this there. All right, any other comments or questions before I close the net?
I'd like to send one more picture if I could, see if I cleared up this problem.
All right, go ahead, George.
I didn't get a chance to send my Aries image, so here goes. PD-120.
N6YG AE6JG. That is an amazingly clear image all around. I mean, my copy of it just has a couple pixel pops in the black on the bottom. Very tiny bit of slant, but that could be me, not you. Who else? Let me have Bill, N6HA, comment.
Yeah, great reception here. Just maybe 2 pixel pops on my end, 2 or 3. It looks like you got a great copy from the bird. This is an awesome image. I got a partial of this one, and I was really disappointed I didn't get the full thing. I faded halfway through, so it's awesome to see the full version. I wonder what your setup was for this one, because it looks great. I feel like everyone's getting really good at getting these ISS images, so I'm impressed with everyone's efforts and the images sent so far. N6HA.
Thanks, Bill. George, tell us what you used to get this.
It's just the normal station. It's fully automated. I wasn't even here when I just leave it running, and it's auto tracks the ISS. 22 elements on azimuth and elevation with circularly polarized is what gets you this image. So that's probably one of the better images I've received from the ISS. I'm pretty sure I think they turned their power up during this event. They had some issues. There were several passes where there was nothing, several passes where there was just a carrier, and but they seem to have gotten that issue resolved. So yeah, N6YG, back to net.
All right, thanks, George. Any other last comments before I close the net?
K6KRQ.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I just want to tell George that's like a uber awesome picture. I had that one too, but it had 2 lines through it, going through Eris. So, thumbs up on that one. Good job, K6KRQ.
Question.
I think that was Stuart. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, N6DVM. I'm new to this, so forgive my question if it's a new question. But in learning and how to do this, has there been or is there a method of doing metadata for SSTV images to share the metadata about the methodology and how these images were captured and sent and received, and either informally or formally in some ways, so that we could share that and learn from it as well? That's it. Thanks.
Not that I'm aware of. I wish there was. I wish they'd update some of these formats and give us some, everything's, this 4x3 format's getting quite old by now. It'd be nice if they had some newer formats.
Stuart, when you're asking about metadata, what is it that you're looking for?
Well, in general, so I actually have a background in metadata standards, and that's I do metadata. But analogous to a JPEG image that has, or in medicine and radiology, and Carol probably knows this, that we have a standard called DICOM, which provides the metadata about the image that's been captured behind the scenes, image about the file format, the size, the capture technology, all the information that someone can look at to determine how that image was obtained and created. And so in this case, I'm thinking some minimal metadata data set that would provide some information about the radio, the methodology, audio, data cable, antenna, whatever. I mean, all the tools and resources we use to capture and share these images might be helpful for people learning how to do it. So not a standard necessarily. Of course, maybe one thing we could do is create a standard. But in the meantime, can we casually, voluntarily share some image information about how it was obtained and share that with others? N6DVM.
KP4MD.
Anybody have comments on that?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I do.
Go ahead, KP4MD.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to say, yeah, not with this MMSSTV. The only thing that we can send along with this is uh, there's a little bit of FSK ID that goes that transmits your call sign. That's about the only thing that this particular program can send. But there is a digital SSTV program that will allow you to send a certain amount of text along with a picture. So that I forget the name of that software that we used to use that sends instead of analog, it sends it using a digital format, and you can actually send captions and text along with a picture. So I'm sure that George knows what I'm talking about. Over.
I don't think they're supporting that software anymore. It's real popular in Europe. I know that there's digital SSTV software in Linux as well. So that was something I wanted to play around with, but it never got real popular out here. I don't know why. Let's see if I have it. I don't know. It would be fairly easy. There's a new ham or new group of hams that's doing some maintenance and updates to MMSSTV, and it's Giovanni or something like that. I have that on my computer. I was having issues with their latest release, so I went back to the 1.13a version here. But it really wouldn't be hard for them to modify some of these modes and create new modes based off of PD120 or something like that, where they could add additional lines with some metadata using any number of formats. So yeah, it'd be interesting to bring that up. I think they have a group. I think they're over on what's the open source website? I just drew a blank. So yeah, it'd be interesting if they could do something like that. It'd be really nice if they'd update some of these modes and give us a 16:9 mode.
Yeah, I think that program was EasyPal, if I'm not mistaken. EasyPal.
Yeah, that was it.
Bill, go ahead.
If you want to send metadata in a different format other than SSTV, because it doesn't support more than just call signs, it sounds like, there's a protocol called Ribbit, R-I-B-B-I-T, like, the frog, or Rattlegram. Those two could send, very short messages, after the image. You could queue that up and send more metadata if you want to in a digital format, N6HA.
Stuart, is that helpful?
Very helpful. Thank you, everyone. It's very helpful. Maybe I'll. The primary goal. Well, the primary goal is to create the metadata. The secondary goal would be make it independent of any software in an open standard way. So yeah. But thank you all for your responses. N6DVM.
What we really need is for somebody to completely revamp MMSSTV. I don't know how old the software is, but as a lay person, I would love to see that. All right, I'm going to close the net, and then if anybody wants to talk after, of course, the frequency is open. Thanks to everybody who participated in tonight's Slow Scan TV Net. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m., including all of you who joined us this evening on the YouTube live stream. That's great. The net is officially closed at 10:10 p.m. Pacific time. This is James, Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf, wishing all of you a good evening.
Yeah, N6YG, KP4MD.
Good, Carol. N6YG.
Yeah. When I originally shared the announcement for this event, it was supposed to be on 145.800. You said they moved it to 145.825?
It was 145.800. I've got 825 stuck in the head. It's the other frequency.
Is this is K6KRQ. I was going to ask the same thing. I pulled them on with 145/800.
Okay, well, it's going on for until January 5th, so I still have a chance to capture some of those pictures. Thank you very much. Excellent, excellent program for New Year's Day. Thank you so much, everybody who participated. And this is KP4MD, now clear. 7-3s to all.
Yeah, that was my bad. I'm so used to the APRS frequency that it just rattled it off from memory. But you are correct, it is .1800.
I thought it was like some hip, slick, and cool Doppler shift that I might be able to use, but no worries.
Thanks everybody for a great net. I agree with Carol. This was a great way to start 2025. AE6JG clear.
I was kind of surprised we had as large a turnout as we did. I almost didn't make it. I was really kind of tired. I aggravated my back the other day, and that completely on the first, just the evening. On the evening, I aggravated my back to the point where I couldn't even walk. I was barely able to get up. That's what I get for thinking I'm gonna do yard work. I mixed up a batch of Roundup to hit the fence line because it was starting to get green, and I got lazy. I didn't want to do the tow behind. I got a big tow behind 25-gallon sprayer that's electric, and I just tow it behind the tractor and spray. I figured, I'll just do this real quick with a pump-up sprayer, and yeah, that was a bad idea.
Well, just take care of yourself, George. Yeah, I was pleased with the turnout tonight, and hopefully we can keep it going. And if Stuart, if you're still there, hopefully you can join us on most Wednesday nights. And again, this group is completely available for any questions. These folks know everything. I just kind of skate along, but there's so much knowledge and depth here. It's impressive.
Yeah, I'm still here, and a good thing is I've acquired a ton of equipment in the last few months, and now it's my time to put it all together. So I look forward to that, and I definitely will ask questions. Thanks. N6DVM.
And MMS TV, by the way, I don't know who mentioned that. It's definitely getting long in the tooth. There's another app. It's a commercial app you have to pay for. It's called Black Cat SSTV, I think. And it's really good. It's actually very well put together. It doesn't have the template capabilities and other things that MMS TV has, but it's much simpler to set up, and it works really well. I like it quite a bit. I'm just so used to MMS TV that I use it quite often. There's a lot of things they can get rid of in MMS TV that they don't need anymore, like some of the decoding profiles. What modes am I thinking of that they have? There's several, like Hilbert Transform is about the only thing that we even need to concern ourselves with. The demodulators. Hilbert Transform is the only thing we really need to use now. The PLL and Zero Crossing can go. We don't need those. Were modes intended to reduce the load on the computer back when we were using 486s. Now that all the modern computers are so powerful, they can handle the Hilbert Transform. So anyhow, N6YG.
That was me, and I want something that's user-friendly for people like me.
That would be the Black Cat. Unfortunately, I think they offer a free version that you can use for a while, and then you have to register it. But it's really worth paying for. I know Kayla uses it, and it just works. It's just easy to use. MMS TV can be quite intimidating to someone who's just getting into it and opens it up for the first time, and they go into the menu system, and holy moly, there's so much stuff there that you just 90% of you don't need. So just for basic SSTV, it is highly customizable. But
Yeah, I understand that. But one of the reasons I don't have an Android phone is because I don't want to do customizing. I just want it to work. But, you know, that's just me.
Question?
Go ahead, Stuart.
Does anybody know when the last time MMS TV was patched or updated? I looked at it briefly, and it looked like it hadn't been updated in 10 years or more, and I was reluctant to download it.
No, it hasn't. It works really well. I mean, it's a very well written application. Very few problems. It doesn't crash. I mean, I've never had a crash with this program. So, and that's you know, this was written back when we were running 486s, I think, is when it first came out, and it's been running, you know, pretty well ever since. Now there's a group, Spanish hams, I think, Yavani. I'll have to see if I can find it, and they are currently they have taken over MMS TV, and they've updated it and added some stuff to it and cleaned it up a bit. I had some issues because they changed the way it handles keying the rig. They went to OmniRig is the CAT interface they went to, and I'm not a huge fan of OmniRig. MMS TV talks to my radio directly without a lot of effort, so I wasn't happy about that change.
Comment.
Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, I saw that version too, George, the Spanish version, and that OmniRig. I forget what it did because I haven't used it, but it looked the same as MMS TV, but that OmniRig thing got in the way of some other settings, so I just abandoned it and just used the regular SSTV.
Yeah, that's kind of why I went back, and it's Yankee Oscar November India Quebec. If you Google that one, it will pull it up. And yeah, that's why I went back to this. I don't like OmniRig. I don't know why they chose that. They should leave the standard system that MMS TV has for keying. That's what, you know, most ham radio applications do. So, and it works with everything. So, but the nice thing about, I guess, the OmniRig app is that it allows it's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's not independent. You can have multiple applications running simultaneously accessing that. So that's probably the reason they went to it. With MMS TV, you can only run MMS TV. You can't run any other application that's going to access those ports simultaneously, which I never do anyways. I'm not going to run PSK31. I'm not going to run WSJTX while I'm doing SSTV. So it's like really just no reason for it.
N6YG, K6KRQ. Hey, George, were you able to get all 12 of those images off the ISS?
No, I didn't. I didn't even try. I was kind of burnt out on doing ISS. They've been running a lot of SSTV lately.
No, I asked because that one you shared with us was like so clear. So, all right, I was just curious. K6KRQ.
I'm heading to bed. I got to get the dog out. Great to hear everybody tonight, and hope to see you guys all next Tuesday at the club meeting. AE6JG clear.
Alrighty, thank you for doing the net tonight. Yeah, I'd love to go to a club meeting, but anyhow. Yeah, well, that's what you get with the, you know, that's a big satellite antenna. I'm not going to use that normally. It's just too big to deal with So I'm going to go back to 5, maybe 7 elements, and that's it. This is 22 elements with horizontal, vertical polarization. So, and the problem with using an antenna like that is that you've got to really keep your system up to date and tuned. You got to keep the keps right up to date, because it's such a high gain antenna that if you're off, it's worse than not having it, because now you're not on the satellite, and you have to really change the update rate. Normally it's like 20 degrees, so the rotator will wait until the satellite passes and it gets 10 degrees away from it, and then the antenna will rotate 20 degrees, so it's 10 degrees ahead of the satellite, and that doesn't work real well with such a high gain antenna. You really have to set it so it's like at 2 degrees plus and minus, and so it's moving and starting and stopping a lot more.
That sounds kind of like sharpshooting with the antenna. That's kind of intriguing.
One of the things I just do not like about, and it's like they don't give us much of an option with the rotators there. The ASU G5500, which is what I have, and that's an $800 rotator system. It's just an AC motor, and it's very abrupt. When it kicks on, it's 100% throttle, and so there's no soft ramp up. There's no slow movement with this. It really jerks the antennas around, and I don't understand why they do that. It's not necessary. We have stepper motors nowadays, and there's ways where they can just actively, if you've ever done astronomy and watched a telescope track, a star or the moon or something like that, it's a very constant, slow movement that's barely perceptible. It's slow enough that you can keep a good focus on the moon. Where with the satellite antennas, the trackers, it's just, it waits until the satellite's 10 degrees ahead, and then it's just full on, and it jerks the antenna over 10 degrees ahead of it. And it's just not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. It does a lot of stress on the antenna, a lot of stress on the whole system. I really wish there was a better design.
That's interesting. I've never seen one. I kind of thought they were like the ones on telescopes, but I can picture perfectly the way you described it, like jerking the antenna around. K6, KRQ.
And depending on what you're doing, you can actually use, if you can get your hands on an old Meade ETX90 or one of the ETX series telescopes, like the ETX60 works too. Defork the telescope. I see those the ETX60 or ETX70, I don't remember. They have an alt azimuth, so it's an azimuth and elevation head, a fork mount that controls the telescope, and it's very smooth. And what's interesting about that particular setup is that you can connect it up to a computer, and it will track satellites. You can upload keps to it and select it, and it will track a satellite. And I've done that years ago. I did that with a small Arrow style antenna that needed to be counterbalanced. I've tracked the ISS using that with just a small Arrow style antenna, and it worked great. The only drawback to it is it's not waterproof. Not designed to sit outside overnight or for days at a time. Good for portable use, but that was really smooth and worked well.
I know what scopes you're talking about, but I didn't think you could do that with them. I thought they were just able to track, like, because the rotation and the celestial motion seems to me to be a more regular thing than random satellite movement through the sky.
No, you can actually track satellites with it. You can upload to the Meade hand controller. On that particular model, it's a little weird. You have to plug into the hand controller. So you have it was originally designed for RS-232, so you kind of have to use one of those serial converters. And you plug into theirs. If you look at the bottom of the hand controller, there's another plug in there. And so you plug into that, and you plug it to the computer and fire up their program. They have their own program, Meade does, and you can track satellites with it. So, and it works. The thing is that thing was not designed to carry a lot of weight. So you have to counterbalance whatever antenna you put on there. You got to make sure that you counterbalance it.
Okay, that's something to think about. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for your time, George. This is Bill, K6KRQ. Have a good evening, 73.
All right, Bill. Good to talk to you. And yeah, that's you can pick up those. It's just a fork-mounted ETX 90 or 70 or whatever. They're cheap. The 70s are real cheap. The 90s start to get a little more expensive. They're Mac telescopes, so they're really good. Actually, the optical tubes from 90 and up are actually really nice. That ETX 125 still sells used. I see those things pop up occasionally used for $600 to $800. So they still command a pretty good price. But the smaller ones, like the 70, they can't practically give those away, and that mount is worth whatever they're selling for, $60 or something like that. Works real well. Anyhow, we'll talk to you later. N6YG. What up, Bill? N6HA, are you still around? N6YG.